What a fantastic way to kick off IPL4. How are you guys doing, audience? That was only round one. It's still anybody's game. I hope the players are ready because now it's time for CLG versus AAA round two. How are you guys feeling?
I think the whole crowd's doing good.
Good.
I think everyone's just having a fantastic time. You guys, I love you. Thank you for joining us. I love your excitement.
Off with the breeze.
Yes. But we do have a little bit of an update too, because while this madness was going on, Epic versus Curse. Well, it seems like Curse has won game one.
Yeah, they were actually saying with the picks, we did have Epic was running, kind of that single target lockdown team. They had Rise, they had Shen, they had Nocturne, a really tanky kind of core. That actually doesn't make sense. There's not a DPS in there. We're being told, they fed us this information on what's going on in the game, and we see Epic's picks, Rise, Nunu, Shen, Nocturne, Mundo, and I'm like, why would they run a team with no damage, no DPS? That would actually be really interesting if that was actually the case. But I'm going to assume that there was a Kog'Maw in there. But Purple had that AoE damage supposedly, so they were able to pick up some early fights with Morgana, Leona, comboing those AoE, ultimates. So able to pick up that win.
So we're now heading in to game number 2 against Authority CLG. Not everyone's in the room just yet, but we should have everything up and going soon. But man, game 1, fantastic way to start the weekend, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, if Against All Authority is trying to run a similar team, they definitely need to bend Shen the next time, because Shen, just was such an effective counter to their team comp. We'll see. I mean, they could bait out the Shen pick. We saw CLG taking Shen first pick, and Shen's just an all-around strong champion. But then if we see Against All Authority pick another kind of strategy, pick a more AoE-centric team, a really aggressive fight team, then, maybe another aggressive top laner would.
And as much as I wanted the global ult comp to kind of work, unfortunately they didn't quite get what they wanted. And they had their great initiations early on, but they had the inability to finish the job. If you get the initiation, you need to be able to finish the job, and they just couldn't do it. Corki, Valkyried away. You had Anivia getting the wall, Sona there with the ult for the counter initiation, and Shen was there to provide all the utility they needed to wrap up any other loose ends. So we may see a drastically different comp from Against All Authority going into game 2 and possibly game number 3.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. I mean, it was a very well-played game for both teams, and that's what we had seen at IAM Hanover. It was a very even match. Even though these teams, they don't get to face each other that often, but we are into Champ Select, so we will be having this game shortly. We'll see kind of what strategies Against All Authority is trying to use, maybe a little bit differently. Both teams definitely have a lot of versatility in their play styles, though.
So hopefully we'll see a Shen ban here. Is there anyone else really on CLG's team which may also benefit AAA to also ban it?
Well, it's weird. I mean, we saw the really effective play, from the style they were running. I don't think we'll see Against All Authority running a similar team, particularly with Ashe down, because Ashe really is just the icing on the cake for that team. So we'll probably see very similar bans. They might even allow Shen, and if they have the same bans as last time, allow Shen, and then move into a more fight-centric comp, then Shen doesn't provide the same control. But we are seeing almost the exact same bans as the last game.
Exact same bans almost from last game. Now, we also had a new Deer ban from AAA first game. We also had a Kennen ban from CLG first game, and there's the Shen ban. So Udyr is open now. For the moment, we may see CLG pick them up, but the Kennen ban coming from CLG. So we only have one change in the bans. So Kennen was swapped out for Shen, and Udyr will be picked up by Against All Authority.
So there you go. Udyr is definitely one of those the strongest champions in the game. Can be very effective top lane. Shuts down a number of champions, but even so, you can't really counter out Udyr. Udyr can just sit there, tank, have that regen, so it's a very safe pick, but also has that versatility where Udyr can go in the jungle. So a very flexible team right now. We saw them ban it last game, but first picking now, not allowing CLG to get that Udyr. Both Hotshot and St. Vicious would have loved that pick.
Janna, incredibly popular lady. And she's once again, top support right now since the heal nerfs. Fantastic utility. You got the shield, you got the tornado, you got the slow, you got the ultimate. Wonderful, wonderful kit, and we may be seeing it with Corki bot lane. See if their Corki can't be even better. Corki was amazing last game too, but with a Janna on your side, that's even better.
Yeah, Big Fat definitely doing a fantastic job there, getting low. I'm sorry, Double Lift doing a great job there, getting low a number of times. But the big thing with Janna, the shield, if you pop the shield, then you lose that AD advantage. Then Janna doesn't have the heals. Very quickly, Janna can be put behind in lane. And here we have, I was about to say, an aggressive laner down bottom is a very strong counter to Janna because you can burst that shield down. Then you don't have to worry about her. She is very safe from ganks. But we'll see. We do have blue team for Against All Authority. If they were purple, then maybe we see like a roaming support with getting that blue on Urgot, like we saw with M5 at Hanover. But not going to happen. But we'll see. Yellow Star is going to be doing an awesome job with that Urgot. And paired with Leona, that is going to be...
Don't see Urgot is actually coming back in popularity just a little bit. Not many teams play him, but the teams that do, very, very effective at it. And I also see that now AAA is now changing up their team fight strategy now. You have Urgot, he can swap places, and we also have 2 stuns right off the bat. We got Udyr with the bear stance, we got Leona, wonderful kit for stuns, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, they have a lot of great lockdown focus right now. We'll see if N-Rated is able to get in, on Janna in particular, or Corki. Corki is a little bit more safe in lane, has that Valkyrie to get out of there. But if N-Rated is able to get the stun onto Chaucer in that bottom lane, Urgot will have the very easy job following it up with the Acid Hunter. We'll be able to get the lockdowns on his Q, get some great damage early in that game.
But we had the Shen ban, but you know what? Anivia still open. Will we take it? Yes. CLG got Anivia and Shyvana, so we should be seeing some a little bit of counter jungling this game, possibly. It's a safe bet. It's a safe bet.
Yeah, and one of the big things that's interesting with Anivia, we already once again have a short-range team with Against All Authority. Urgot's very short-range. Leona and Udyr, obviously, they're melee. So Anivia has that fight control when you bring those champions into that short range. But then also, if Urgot's trying to get the swap, because that's the key. Urgot's going to be trying, swap someone in the team, burst them down, win a team fight very quickly that way. Anivia's Flash Frost is just barely fast enough that if Big Fat gets that really just split-second reaction, he can stop Urgot's ultimate. But Urgot's ultimate is pretty quick, so it'll require some great timing by Big Fat.
Not to mention, if you happen to get Anivia with the swap, she does also still have an egg. Whoa! What?
So,
what?
And almost all melee team, we have Urgot with the swap into the aggression from Talon and Fizz. They're both kind of anti-carry champions, but tons of burst damage for Against All Authority.
And you know what? Talon and Fizz are also very big evasive champions. You have Fizz with the Playful Trickster can go ahead, evade all those skill shots like pretty much everything Anivia has to offer. So we probably will be seeing the Fizz mid. It's like, oh, you're going to shoot that little ice blast at me? Nope. Just flip right over it. And then Talon, also, you have the ultimate. You got a little bit of stealth action going on. So, yep, we'll have to see how it works out. And last pick for CLG will be Gangplank.
Another thing to consider is a lot of champions mid, they have great burst damage, but don't have the sustained damage to take down Anivia. She has that egg. Fizz is not one of them. So Fizz has the burst, but then can couple it with that sustained damage. Very easily can pick up kills on Big Fat. If Big Fat's not careful, he is going to want to save those stuns. Very carefully watch out for Fizz to be having those jukes to avoid that. And then Hotshot going to be taking Gangplank top, so that ranged harass is going to be very effective against Talon. Maybe put him behind a little bit early, though at the same time, he takes the teleport for the map control. We saw it last game. But against Talon, Talon has that Ignite that will provide Talon a better control over that lane. He has greater kill potential than Gangplank with the Talon Ignite versus the teleport.
But actually, you know what? I'm thinking a little bit about this. Is there a possibility? And you just entertain me a little bit on this. Is there a way we could possibly see like a super aggressive like double melee bot? We could see Talon and Leona bot lane and see Urgot go top. We could just to counteract the range.
I don't know. You want me to tease you, and it's not going to happen. There's no potential. It's exciting. I mean, we have seen a lot of ranged champions going top. There is a lot of burst potential with Talon and Leona. The only issue is Talon is very weak in those early levels, and then Corki and Janna have just such great harass. They would just dominate the lane in the early levels. There would be no chance for Talon and Leona to be matched up against them. They really need to get to that kill potential point. They need to get a couple of levels, and Double Lift and Chouster just wouldn't let that happen. So we will see Urgot and Leona bottom. The heal, helps out with Urgot because they know they're going to want to be aggressive with fights. They don't have a heal with Leona, so they will have that presence there.
All right, so let's figure out a little bit more about the reasoning behind the Talon pick. Doesn't do well. Then again, Gangplank was picked after.
Yeah, you're right.
Talon was picked.
The Talon is actually a very unusual pick, and you look at what CLG has. They have a pretty tanky team. They have a strong team for disengaging. Talon is an anti-carry. I mean, that's what he does. He's an assassin. He's going to want to get some kills. If they can take down either Corki or Anivia with all of their burst potential, if we have Urgot and oh well, that's interesting. So we will be back in the game shortly, but if we have Urgot, able to swap someone out, and then Fizz and Talon couple their burst damage, they can just assassinate anyone really quickly, and be able to pick up those kills. So we'll have to see, how it works out for him. Talon, if he can't get going, if he can't get the farm that he wants in lane, it's definitely going to be, difficult for him in that in this game.
So to review once again, the picks and bans. Against All Authority has banned out Ryze, Ahri, and this time Shen. CLG has decided to take out Karthus, Ashe, and Kennen. CLG has also decided to pick Janna, Corki, Anivia, Shyvana, and Gangplank. Against All Authority this time we're running Udyr, Leona, Urgot, Fizz, and Talon. So we're going to see if we can't get this game going shortly here. A little bit of difficulty, but we'll
a little bit of difficulty. If we could actually, Nick is somewhere around here, could message me that password. We actually are locked out of the game here for a second, but we will be back in the game shortly.
But we got a lot of wonderful, wonderful staff here. They've been working on this entire stage, this entire setup for the past few days. I love these runestones, man. These runestones are the coolest things. I love these things. We had them in our office. We had them all set up and glowing, very ominous, going to work every day. It was wonderful. So we will see if we can't get back into this game shortly. A little bit of trouble. We should be doing just fine, though. And once again, we do want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors: AMD, Astros, Kingston, Twitch TV, Gunner, and Playhem. We appreciate everything you guys do and supporting us and supporting esports. Give you a big, big thank you. So we'll see if we can't get this game underway.
No, I need the account.
So right now, yeah. So while we're getting all of this underway, try and get this fixed, we will be going to a quick commercial, so we shall be right back in a moment.
Get brilliant HD with AMD A-Series APUs at www.amd.com/vision.
This special presentation of IPL is brought to you by Astro Gaming. Check out the latest award-winning gaming gear at astrogaming.com and follow @AstroGaming on Twitter.
All right, we are back. We got our stuff resolved here, so we're going to be heading right back into game. Game number 2 in progress here against Authority versus CLG. Getting right back into it.
Wow, so actually, the king of awkwardness here, thank you very much, but we actually see Talon going mid against Big Fat, so, you know, he will have that silence against Anivia. He provides that great control in that mid lane. We'll see whether or not he can pick up some kills. And then top, we see CLG. We have Double Lift and Chouster coming up here to shut down MoMA. And so, you know, this is going to be a very difficult lane for Gangplank, but Gangplank was able to get that early blue. So CLG getting that early blue for Gangplank so that they can 2v1 in bot and then send their lane up top.
So Talon going mid against Anivia. So that was the whole grand scheme. That was the objective that we were trying to see here. But so mid lane, we don't see Talon mid lane that much, do we?
No, I mean, Talon is definitely a very effective counter against a number of AP champions. You're right; he hasn't been played a lot, so it will be interesting to see. I can't remember the last game. You know, I had seen him in a tournament kind of setting.
Yeah.
This is actually the awkward pause, for me earlier. But we will be back in this game shortly. But I don't know. It should be interesting. The silence is definitely a very effective counter. He has the physical damage. He has once again sustained damage. So if he can burst down Anivia with his ignite, then he's going to be able to provide that control in mid lane.
So we can also take a look at the lanes we have set up. So we do have a lane switch on bot lane for CLG. So Gangplank has decided to go bot. We got Corki and Jaina up top lane to try and do some counter activity there. And usually there's something with switching lanes that usually the first team to switch lanes has the advantage, because you're forcing the other team to also switch lanes, and within that process you have 3 champs. They're not in lane, they're not getting gold, they're not getting experience, they're not getting last hits, they're not really getting a whole bunch of anything. They're just trying to equalize the playing field, and that process is the advantage.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, we'll see whether or not CLG is able to take advantage with this matchup that they have. Both Fizz and Talon need to get farm, need to get those levels in order to be effective in the game. And right now, though we have the pause screen, Fizz only has 1 CS, a couple minutes into the game.
Right.
So when we start back up, how much farm is Fizz going to be able to get against Corki and Jaina? Fizz has a ton of damage regardless, but in order to be really effective through those mid-game fights, they definitely need to get that farm going.
So I mean, Corki and Fizz is a very evasive little bugger, and he can get away from all those skill shots that Corki has, and he can get away from a little bit of Jaina's stuff too. But pause is over. We're getting right back into it, and we will see how MoMA fares top lane.
Yeah, and so, I mean, once again, it is going to be a very difficult matchup for him. If we can go back into the game, thank you. We do have Yellow trying to get some good control over Hotshot here, but Urgot's definitely going to run out of mana before Hotshot will, so he can farm with that parley. He does have that heal spam ability, and that is going to be a pretty even lane without Leona coming, because Leona is actually coming top to try and support MoMA here.
Yellow pushing as much as he can against Hotshot in the bot lane, but mid CLG is pushing, top CLG is pushing, so it's trying to equalize a little bit. But Shyvana St. Vish has got the red buff. I think we might actually be having some action here, trying to get the gank down on Yellow. He actually does not have vision on Shyvana. Now he does. There's a defensive ward in that tri-bush, so he knows he's in a little bit of trouble. He's pinned up against the wall. St. Vish is trying to take off a little bit of damage, but not going to be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. Yellow Star, he does have that great range capability. He doesn't have a lot of survivability to gank, so we actually see Hotshot coming in here, getting some great damage off. And St. Vicious with the exhaust, they're coming in for the kill.
Right under tower, can they get it?
Though.
Hotshot's still there.
Saint almost going down.
Up and down.
The first blood for Hotshot.
Look at St. Vicious. St. Vicious, that was single-digit health. That was single-digit health. Barely getting
Yellow
away.
Star almost picking up the double kill, but Linak is coming up top. He is going to be trying to get a gank off, and with that stun from Leona, he can maybe set it up. The issue is, we do have a lot of survivability with the Jaina Whirlwinds, with Corki's Valkyrie. It will be tough to engage in that lane.
Yeah. In order for Linak to be able to get into that bush, they have to clear the minion wave first, but they're not going to be able to do it as effectively. He has to come in through the river. River is warded, so CLG knows when to back off, and Linak just has to go back right to the jungle. So as now also returning to the mid, and we've got let's take a look at the creep score, 26 to 24. It's fairly even. but we also see Linak doing a little bit of counter jungling, trying to out-counter jungle the big counter jungler in Shyvana.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a strength of Udyr as well, and so we are actually seeing he is coming back up, and we don't have a ward here, so N-Rated chasing him down, but is going to have to flash out of there, is getting very low, so now Linak not going to be able to really be that effective, get some damage off, but because, you know, they were behind, MoMA just too low, N-Rated getting too low, not able to get a successful gank there.
Yeah. In order for a gank like that to be successful, you have to have the rest of your team in that lane right behind you doing what they need to do to get that kill, but N-Rated just got way too low, just got way too chunked out and had to back out. But St. Vicious now in turn also stealing the Wraiths. Yellow and Hotshot still going down bot lane. The creep score actually, Yellow's actually doing quite a pretty good job. Pretty good for himself right now. But St. Vicious coming up from behind Soaz. He's pushing out a little bit too far. Gonna take a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough to gank Talon. I mean, if Anivia is able to get the stun, then, you know, they will have that presence. But with the invisibility, coupled with the fact that, you know, Shyvana isn't the most aggressive, you know, ganker, it'll be tough. They would really need vision, and Talon can be very defensive in that lane, particularly with Anivia there. But we'll have to see. You know, Anivia is definitely going to want to be safe. Anivia tends to push the lane, which will make her very vulnerable to that Talon. He doesn't really want to tower dive Anivia, but we'll have to see how that works out for them.
Yeah, just for a moment, we had 3 champs in mid lane. Soaz was actually being pinged out. I think they wanted to try and get something happening in mid lane, but you know, he's 6 now. He's got his ult. He can stealth away. He can get away rather easily if need be. So it's going to be even more difficult to gank at this point.
Yeah, and we see Urgot, you know, has some great control down bot, but again, Gangplank's just too tanky. With that blue buff early, he can just farm, and so Linak, I'm not sure if he's going to keep this blue. He might just hold it for himself and try and speed up his farm. It would be really nice to get on Soaz, so he is actually going to stall off and hold it for him, so Soaz will be able to pick it off. It will give him that spam ability. Actually, Linak, sorry, I thought he was stopping for a second, but Linak is just going to keep it for himself, and that's, I mean, it does give him, you know, a much faster clear. He can spam and, you know, give them that jungle presence that they really need.
Phoenix, Udyr. Hey, Udyr, I mean, if you're an Udyr and you change your skills quite often, that blue buff does so much for your mana and your regen. Keeps you in the fight longer. What's his turtle stance? His turtle stance actually up there. But so, Dragon actually going down here.
A really aggressive, just before 8-minute Dragon for CLG. We do have a Vamp Scepter on St. Vicious, coupled that with Janna. They can take it pretty effectively. And knowing that, you know, we have the 2 top from Against All Authority, they don't really have the best control. So a really aggressive Dragon from CLG, able to pick that up.
And that's again, and if you notice too, they did a little bit of a partial switch. Doublelift stayed top. Chowster started roaming a little bit. So when we got Vision, 2 champs top lane, he was like, you know what, we can outnumber them at Dragon right now. And they slipped in and took it. But Doublelift has to Valkyrie out to get away. But then again, you know, while they did take Dragon, Doublelift is definitely vulnerable for a little while, but we got the reinforcements coming in. Chowster and St. Vicious on the way. But Hotshot actually took quite a big chunk as well.
Yeah, and now that we see, you know, some of these champions hitting 6, we definitely have a lot more presence in this game from Against All Authority. Once again, they have great burst, but Doublelift actually getting some great harass on the MoMA, backing off just perfect timing as N-Rated was trying to come in with the stun. So, you know, they will back off there, but great control so far from CLG for an early advantage.
Solid play. 9 minutes in, we got the Dragon, and that is the difference in this game right now. CLG 1K in gold ahead. And we still got a little bit of lane switch action here. So Chowster's rejoined Doublelift in the top. Hotshot going to be returning to bot lane to face off against Yellow. And right now Soaz trying to get the Wraiths, but will be caught out by St. Vicious, but Linak is not too far behind. Gets the bear stance, stun on St. Vicious, has to Dragon away to escape. Knew it was in a bit of a hairy situation, had to get out of there.
Yeah, they did have the pink ward there, so, you know, they could have a little bit more control. They wanted that control over their jungle, but it would have been interesting if we saw a fight, whether or not Soaz, you know, wouldn't have realized it, but the pink ward actually dying right at the beginning of that fight. So, you know, nothing's going to happen. But I don't know, we'll see whether or not we see some aggression from some of these champions. Talon kind of sitting back, wants to just get some levels until he knows he can just burst down Anivia. When it happens, when he knows he's safe, he'll be able to jump in for the kill.
Hotshot's actually been quite hugging his tower quite a bit so far this game. It's just being pushed relentlessly by both Linak and Yellow. As just, Urgot's getting in with the harass he needs. And I think, you have all that tracking. That's a lot of damage you could do from quite a far distance away.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely has that lane sustainability. It is a very effective matchup for Hotshot, and then as the game progresses, they have a great fight control. The raised morale from Gangplank will provide them with a lot of fight control, but there actually is Yellow Star with the ultimate. Ken Soaz getting range, he will get in there, but I don't think they have enough damage, so there's the Ignite going off. We have Yellow going to be able to egg Anivia, but they don't really have the follow-up, so St. Vicious able to dissuade them for a little bit. They're going to get some nice damage on the big bat here, but then Soaz is going to be very close to going down. If Anivia
can we get
the stun underneath the tower, Yellow Star very close to going off, but we actually do see CLG just retreating.
The Ignite going down on Yellow, just everyone barely being able to get away. But I think Soaz maybe a little bit overzealous here. I think it would be in his best interest to back off a little bit. They're still a little bit outnumbered in mid. That was close. That was
once
really
again,
close.
fantastic defensive play from CLG, just barely able to survive all that burst. And if you can survive those early kills, we do have a very strong snowball comp from Against All Authority where they're trying to get that early advantage. Urgot, Talon, Fizz, all trying to get an early advantage, and if CLG can stop that, then they definitely have a lot of fight control. All their disables with Janna, with Anivia, it'll be very tough for this basically melee team to get up in their face.
There was a little bit of indecision, though, in that last team fight. You saw Soaz backing off just a little bit. You saw Yellow backing off just a little bit. It was like, oh, Anivia's an egg. Do we still keep going for the kill? Do we let her respawn? Do we just go away? They couldn't make a decision right there. That could have been a kill.
Yeah, it could have, but at the same time, they were both very low. We had, great control from St. Vicious coming in. Big Pet had gotten them pretty low, so it would have been tough. They would have had to go in for the kill. But actually, we have the Flash Frost onto Soaz, and his ultimate is up, but we have an Oracles on St. Vicious, so they're still chasing. But that early Oracles on St. Vicious is going to be huge. They're going to have the ward control, and they're going to be able to, control some of these fights with Talon, just completely shut him down early in this game.
Well, St. Vicious has an Oracle. We also see that Linek has one as well. But I think the Oracle's being a little bit more beneficial here.
Yeah, and so
MoMA being focused down by Doublelift and Chowster. We got pings going down, we got CBs going down around Dragon Area 2. But here comes Linek with the Oracles coming on up the top lane.
Oh, wow. So a kill on the Yellow Star. Very effective play from St. Vicious. And actually in top as well, we have a fight going on. MoMA and Linek trying to get that kill. Doublelift chasing him down. So is able probably to get that kill. Can we have the juke? No. So he will go down, and now Linek chasing, able to get the kill. Is actually going to be able to chase down Chowster as well. He doesn't have a slow, but he will be dealing a ton of damage. The flash out from Chowster will be able to get him out of there. But we have the flash from Linek with the stun. One more thing. Not able to get it. Just barely. Another couple of procs from that Phoenix stance would have been able to pick up that kill.
Unfortunate, but you know what? We get a whole bunch of kills back to back to back, and I think who ended out ahead in that? I think CLG definitely got the better end of that one.
Yeah, I mean definitely it was a strong exchange for them. We did see Linek was able to pick up a couple of kills top, but if you can get gameplay going, if you can kind of shut down Urgot, then that's definitely strong. And Doublelift was able to pick up the kill in the exchange as well.
So 2-3, we see CLG. They got a nice little 2K gold lead for themselves. They're in a nice spot early on, about 14 minutes in, waiting for Dragon to come back up again any moment now. There should be less than a minute. Pink ward going down. Do they see that? They do not see the ward in the pit. It is just right on the corner.
Yeah, and so I mean that's the big thing. CLG knows that in team fights they definitely have an advantage. So the early Oracles, great ward coverage all over the map, will provide them with that. They are going after the Dragon here, but Against All Authority is coming in to defend against this. And actually we have Against All Authority, Soaz is going to be coming on a big bet, but he's going to juke him a little bit, dissuade him there, so they are all grouped together. We don't have them split at all. They will be able to pick up that Dragon. Now chasing onto Soaz, we do have the slow from Hotshot, and Doublelift was actually hit by Urgot by a little bit. But here's CLG coming in, and there's the
get away!
Fiona, and they're able actually to pick up this kill. How many kills can Against All Authority get?
Here comes
we do have
the
the swap onto Hotshot, and so Against All Authority is all grouped around Hotshot, but Hotshot with the flash out of there, so only a single kill. Wow. Almost able to get it.
One more could have done it. It's that Hotshot global taunt, man. He just can't get away. He looks too good. You got to get him down. You got to kill him.
But even so, that was definitely an advantage CLG. They were able to get that Dragon. One kill definitely doesn't equal the Dragon, and now CLG, they can still hold out these lanes, still farm, doesn't allow Against All Authority to take an advantage from that, basically one team fight, but they didn't have the follow-up presence. They were able to burst people down. We actually see a Hotshot teleporting in top, so he can, continue pushing this top lane and prevent Momo from farming once again. Momo, 90 CS, doing actually a pretty effective job so far this game, considering that CLG has gone through such efforts to shut him down.
Hotshot now taking the top lane, doing a little bit of free farming for himself. I was like, you know what, I'm kind of sick of dealing with Urgot. I'm going to go on a little bit of vacation top lane. And N-Rated is up here to defend the tower. Linak still has the Oracles going to be walking around. St. Vicious no longer has his. So once, if they get Talon in a fight, if he uses his ult, he's going to be a little bit more slippery, a little bit more evasive. And we also did not see Oracles being fought by Chowster either. So they're going to be a little bit in the dark if they get into another big team fight, because Soaz will just go invisible and wreck stuff up.
Yeah, actually, oh wow, the flash from Yellowstar trying to get the ultimate on the Saint. Saint just barely out of range, so Soaz able to get a nice chunk of burst damage there. Almost able to get the kill if Yellow was just in range, but we actually see Fizz coming up top, getting some effective harass onto Hotshot. And then bottom, we do see Linak is kind of stuck in the middle of the team, but he should be able to get out of there. The rest of Against All Authority is coming down. We'll see whether or not they can group up on him, get this engaged. There it is, Linak with the red. He will get the stun onto Doublelift. Doublelift will be able to Valkyrie out of here, but the whole team is here, and Urgot still has his ultimate, so they'll be able to get this kill onto Doublelift for sure, and then probably ult one in. There's the Talon, but now Big Fat and Saint are here as well. Talon throwing off his ultimate almost immediately, loses the invis. Linak sitting there in the middle of that pool is going to take some damage, but no fight happening after Doublelift goes down, so another kill for Against All Authority.
Looks like St. Vicious just took Dragon Form just to get away. It's like he just takes Dragon Form and just completely misses everyone. It's like, I just want to get back to tower, but AAA actually diving a little bit, ult from Gangplank actually going down on bot tower to get them a little bit further away. And in mid, N-Rated trying to get away from Big Fat.
Yeah, Big Fat actually able to force out the flash from N-Rated. He was waiting until his cooldowns were up again, so N-Rated was like, dang, I got to get out of here. But Hotshot continuing his push top, has a 3-level advantage over Momo because he did have that solo lane. So, Momo able to successfully farm here, but we'll see whether or not that split push continues. Hotshot's teleport is down for another 3 minutes, but actually Doublelift coming onto Linak. He doesn't have the slow, but there is the ultimate, and he does get the proc from the fade.
Oh!
So with the ultimate, can he get him?
Give me their turtle!
One more!
Give me their
turtle! Do it! Doublelift just almost able to pick him up. He did get that one proc from the Phage, which he had gotten, but not able to pick up the kill.
I was like, another turtle stance, another turtle, we need your shell, we need your help. But you managed to get the speed you need, he managed to get away, got right back to tower, and will be recalling. Picking himself, what did he buy for himself? We got an all magic mantle, we got a recurve bow, so we're going to go to that wit's end very soon once he gets that money.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was just thinking about it. Corki, he is going for that Triforce build, which it used to be extremely popular on Corki, but really, I don't know, has kind of fallen off. You tend to want to get more damage, but because they know they already have a lot of fight control, they don't need, just that constant stream of damage that you would get from, like, Black Cleavers, I'm a Cutie Pie's favorite build, or Infinity Edge, or any of those other items. They need Burst, and so the Burst will allow them to take down these assassins a little bit more effectively. We do see Big Fat is taking that blue buff, so once again, the blue buff control will allow them to please ways, but Yellowstar, and there's the ultimate followed up by Moma, so they're going to have some nice damage. How much damage can they do? Janna is here to defend against it, but there's the Janna ultimate blowing Moma back into the tower, so he's going to take a lot of damage. He's very close to going down. Another Flash Frost would be able to do it. There's the Ignite, not able to pick up the kill.
That was incredibly close. Yellow just wanders in, it's like, oh, you're here, ultimate, and tried to get what they needed, but remember, even if they did get the health that they needed off of Big Fat, still got the egg. If the egg would have been under tower, still would have been unable to be killed safely.
Yeah, and so we see Against All Authority able to take this bottom tower. Definitely provides them some nice control, and they really need control because they're an assassin team. They need to pull CLG out of position, and pushing is the #1 way to do it. We'll see. N-Rated is kind of sitting up here top to keep Soaz safe so he can, continue that push. But I don't know, pretty even game so far. CLG able to stall them out. We do have a slight gold lead for CLG from those dragons, but we should have another dragon spawning probably in about a minute or so. So Against All Authority will probably recall maybe we'll see them grouping up shortly. CLG is actually grouping up here, so they are actually coming down for this Dragon maybe, or even to pick off against All Authority here. There it is. There's the Whirlwind, the wall from Big Fat, able to pick him off. There's the stun onto Soaz. Soaz is invisible now. We don't have that Oracles from St. Vicious. We lost it earlier, but they are able to get out of there and then control this Dragon area.
CLG has put down all the wards they need to pretty much almost all the entrances to Dragon. You got the bot Tribush still uncovered. Actually, nope, now there we got it. Chaucer put in the ward down. So when Dragon does spawn, CLG, they've got it covered. They'll be able to take it pretty convincingly. There it is. And in the meantime, Yellow still top lane, trying to get some hurt on that tower. Shouldn't be able to take it down straight away, but this Dragon should be going uncontested to CLG.
Yeah, and actually Hotshot with the teleport top is able to stop this push top, so CLG with the free Dragon and then no push there. We do have St. Vicious coming down bottom. Momo will be very survivable, but we'll see whether or not he picks someone off.
Oh, there he is.
He's actually just going to get out of there. So the Whirlwind getting off, but he should be fine. And Linak actually turning onto them. We have the ultimate going off in the double lift and the stun from Linak, but they're not able to follow through with it. And now St. Vicious and double lift, they have plenty of control. St. Vicious with the ultimate pulling Linak back, so they're able to get the kill. But the Leona stun coming in, and there's Leona jumping in, not able to get anything happening. But in the meantime, we do have mid. Big Fat was egged, and now Soaz is going to be able to pick up this kill. Actually, almost giving it to Yellow, but Soaz going to pick up that kill.
A very unfortunate timing on that stun on Corki. Got him while the Valkyrie animation was just starting to go, so he's stunned when he landed. And that's not what AAA needs. They needed him square in one place out in front, and he just could not get it. He just Valkyried at the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, and I mean, Urgot, the control that they have with this comp, they have this Assassins coupled with Urgot. So if Urgot gets the pull, which, is what happened against Nivea there, you can just take him down, anyone down so easily, and then Urgot is tanky enough that he doesn't have to worry about going down himself. So, really effective play from against All Authority so far.
Hotshot doing the same thing he was doing last game with Shen, trying to split push top, but not as successful this time around. Linak just taking Bear and Phoenix Stance, trying to chunk him out. But Hotshot's just going to be eating some oranges. It's going to be okay, but we got the rest of the team coming in. Hotshot flash from Linak trying to get another stun. Can we get the rest of the team? No, we got the Gangplank ult in a Tribush. Soaz trying to get away, but Hotshot still now trying to turn the tides on Linak. Turtle Stance walking away.
And in the meantime, Doublelift is going to be able to take down this bottom tower, and so, once again, CLG last game defending against, the aggressive kind of pick-off team that Against All Authority has, able to be very safe there, have Janna for disengaging. St. Vicious has great mobility. Shyvana is one of the fastest junglers in the game, so can be all over the map, be able to, help his team disengage.
So we do have Soaz here in this top push. Udir's not too far away, but we got the flash. He goes right in. Soaz right under tower. They're going for the dive. Can we get the damage we need? He's tanking the tower, but Linak in pursuit will be able to get the last damage he needs. But here comes Chauster in time to save the day with the ult to the wall. Hotshot will be able to get away. Wow.
Wow.
Fantastic ult.
I thought it was a foregone conclusion that Hotshot was down, and so Chauster actually getting the slow and then the Whirlwind onto Linak, but they will let him back off there. But
that ult right on that sliver of forest, just on that one tree. Perfect timing, perfect positioning. But now Baron being pinged by Against All Authority, but they see St. Vicious is also in the neighborhood. Raided right in front of the pit. St. Vicious trying to get some damage he needs, but Linak is now here. We got a Bear. Can we get the stun? Yes, we can. Now we just need to see if we can out-damage St. Vicious just a little bit. Will he go over the wall? Yes, he will. Dragon form going over, and Moma actually got the ult off on Chauster.
Yeah, so not able to pick him off there. A little bit of a desperate engage almost from Against All Authority, but that's kind of what a lot of their team is. They just need to already engage on people, so Big Fat, trying to get some harass there. We'll probably be able to pick up this blue buff. They'll definitely want that on Anivia. Soaz has the ward there. Maybe can, try and blind steal it, but that'll be pretty difficult. We do see Big Fat really going to be able to get this. Soaz trying to get it, not able to do it.
Could not rake it.
So coming into this, next part of the game, it'll be interesting to see how Against All Authority is going to be able to try and keep picking people off. They still have that great assassin burst, but against CLG, once they have their whole team grouped together, they have tons of fight control there. We saw Janna saving Gangplank there a little bit ago, and it'll be really tough for Talon and for Fizz, for Urgot to continue with that aggression.
So we haven't seen a whole. I've been focusing on yellow too much. He's got his Frozen Heart now. We got a Brutalizer, so it's weird. You've got all the mana you need on him. You got all the damage you need, but we need to see him now a little bit more in these fights as we're hitting into the mid game. You get this. You swap places, get someone you need in position, and then you just focus him down. But you see a lot of Urgots now getting a lot more tankier items, just because they know they're going to be on the front line, they're going to be taking a brunt of the damage, but we'll see if he can outlast it. And we also got our Lich Bane on Fizz. We got we got another Brutalizer here on the Talon, along with the Bloodthirster, and a lot of armor on CLG right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is a heavy physical team, so once they get that armor, they can, shut down a lot of their damage. Fizz and Udyr are both magical, so, they will still be doing damage. It's kind of interesting. Urgot definitely, can shut down a number of physical champions. We actually see Against All Authority coming extremely aggressively in this mid lane, but there's the swap from Yellowstar and Gangplank's ultimate, so Yellowstar's going to have to flash out of there. He's kind of out of position, and CLG doing great control here. There's the Leona ultimate. All of Against All Authority is pretty low. We did have the Janna ultimate separating MoMA, and so Yellow is very close to going down. Saint will be able to get out of there, but Hotshot, we do have double picking up the kill. Big Fat's going to be egg, but even with the egg, they're not going to be able to grab it. So CLG able to win this fight. They're going to be able to pick up N-rated here, and then MoMA going to go down. Wow.
CLG 5 for free and a Baron to go along with it.
And you hear the chants from the crowd. They're going insane here because CLG has just shown fantastic control in this match. The Baron buff is going to provide them even more control. It's going to be very tough for Against All Authority to come back. But I was looking at it, and
I hope Chelsea doesn't die. I really hope Chelsea doesn't die to Baron. That'd be very unfortunate.
But Urgot, is definitely strong at picking off those physical champions. He has that Frozen Heart, which does shut down a lot of physical damage. But you look at what CLG's team has, and Shyvana, a lot of her damage is magical. Anivia has heavy magic damage. Corki has a significant amount of magic damage. They have a nice mix with Gangplank and Corki. So it's just, there's not that same effectiveness where you're like, hey, we need to, shut down their attack speed. And as a result, they don't have that pickoff potential anymore. We just have all these disables from CLG, Anivia and Janna coupling together, just barely, keeping their team alive. You need to be able to burst people down when you have an assassin comp.
Also in that last fight, MoMA was out on the side, trying his best to take out Chowster, but just could not finish the job. And because of that, he was so far away from the rest of his team. One of their major damage dealers was just not there. And when he came in, who did he focus on? Anivia, who still has an egg, who's still in the fight. It's essentially another character that you have to focus down. And they just could not get the damage they needed to off. The focus was a little bit off.
And so CLG pushing very aggressively. We do have St. Vicious is going to be taking this dragon in the meantime, but this will be an easy tower for CLG. We do have the rest of Against All Authority split pushing top, so they will be able to pick up this tower. But we'll see whether or not CLG can take this middle inhibitor. If they do, then I don't know. It's not really worth it. But if Against All Authority can stall them out while they're taking, Udyr is alone. Talon did teleport, and they're actually pinging to just continue. So Udyr just going to continue pushing top, and so as Talon does have some wave clearing capabilities, but we'll see whether or not they can stall out this push.
CLG making the push out in mid Against All Authority. They're trying to defend one man down. Wavy if Linek can actually take out top turret, but the swap was canceled. Canceled swap from Janna. Oh my god, and CLG will be able to take down this tower.
CLG's going to be able to get this, but we actually did have the Flash Cross, and then Shyvana, St. Vicious coming back with that Dragon Ultimate onto N-rated. They are going to back off. There's the wall onto Soaz, forces the Flash, so otherwise he would have gone down. There is an inhibitor, but Linek trying to do what he can to push down this top tower. Won't be able to pick up this tower in time as long as CLG can get back. So, once again, another advantage for CLG. They have the great fight control. They're actually going down bottom.
They're not going back.
They're ignoring Linek.
They're letting Linek do his thing up top, and he's taking a little fair amount of damage. Wave for the minions to go. Gangplank going down, trying to clear the minion wave, but Linek will be able to do this. He still has turtle stance. Can he get the last hits he needs? Yes, he can. And CLG continuing to push tower for tower. But still, Against All Authority outnumbered.
Oh, wow, but there's the wall off from Anivia in the burst down onto Yellowstar. We do have them chasing after Talon here. Gangplank with the flash in. Hotshot not able to pick out Soaz, so we do have another tower going down. They will be able to pick up the second inhibitor. The flash in from Soaz just narrowly avoiding that Flash Cross, but the Oracles will pick him up from Janna. And so now another kill. CLG going to be able to take this inhibitor. Linek not actually going to finish the inhibitor of his own.
Now he's going back.
He knows that CLG is going to be pushing onto this Nexus, and they are probably going to be able to take this game right now. I don't know that Against All Authority can stop it, and the wall off once again, picking off N-rated. Linac going to come in, flashes into Chowster, but they won't be able to do it, and CLG is going to be able to take game number 2, winning this series 2-0 against All Authority. Congratulations to CLG.
Focusing the Nexus, GG! 2-0.
Wow, so just fantastic play all around, and CLG Against All Authority running these fantastic, aggressive strategies, these assassin comps. Game number 1, they had that aggressive team. Game number 2, we saw all those assassins, but they weren't able to do it. CLG, the defensive play, able to pick up that win as the game progressed. There are your winners, CLG.
Wow, and you know what, as much as I want to give a shout out for the attempt for the back door, but it just didn't quite work out. It just didn't work out for him. Stayed a little bit too long. They needed him there to defend the tower. Just could not do it. Just could not do it out.
Yeah, and the great jungling control from Shyvana is definitely a big part of that. Shyvana definitely has that mobility, so couple that with the movement speed from Janna, they can move all around the map, try and stall off when Against All Authorities trying to pick up these kills, and then the aggressive dragon, an 8-minute dragon from CLG. And that's what we saw, aggressive dragons, aggressive pushings, and those aren't really what we know CLG for. We know CLG to kind of tend to sit back and be like, hey, we'll win the mid-game fights, we'll give up those early-game dragons, we'll, if they tend to go for a later game comp, maybe not pushing as aggressively, they tend to split push a lot, but we saw just aggressive team fights, and that's what CLG's bringing to the table, a new CLG coming from the Korean scene. We'll see, how they do as this tournament continues, but into round number 2, and then Against All Authority is into the losers bracket now.
Yep, they're not out yet.
They're not out yet. It is double elimination.
So we will be seeing a little bit more from Against All Authority later on in the weekend. CLG moving on. We'll be seeing them. We should be seeing them play again later on today. But man, I can't think of a better way to start off the weekend. Wonderful, wonderful performance from CLG. I can't wait for the rest of the weekend. If this is what we started out with, imagine what we're going to end with.
And we've been seeing a lot of kind of stall teams. We've been seeing a lot of passive play in the competitive scene, but that's not what those 2 games had at all. We just saw all-out aggression. They definitely want to be able to take out the win here. All the fans, cheering for them. We, have the Hui 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 sign is fantastic. So CLG, one of those old-time American favorites. I've been talking, StarCraft, they have in the Korean scene the Bonjour. They have those players that they're revered like gods almost because they're just, these all-time favorite hero players who are just, absolute masters at the game. That would be fantastic to have that in LoL, and CLG is probably the closest we have to that.
Yep. So we're done with our first set. CLG moving on. AAA going into the losers bracket, but we got a lot more for you guys. We're going to go to break, so do please stay tuned. This is IPL4.